Now, a different scene from yesterday. We had heavy rain slam Nashville. It even stopped some cars in their tracks. This is video you see from George L. Davis Boulevard. And Cody, I could hear that rain coming down hard in Green Hills yesterday. I napped through it, but apparently a lot of other people didn't.
The whole day, you just napped the whole day away.
I did, seriously.
Yeah, we saw.
Right now, dozens of people are outraged after all of their cars are broken into at the exact same place. News 4's Danielle Jackson has reaction from the car owners at a Nashville apartment complex this morning. We reached out to the apartment complex asking if they have security on the property. At this time, we still have not heard back, but we'll let you know the second we do. And Midtown isn't the only place getting hit by break-ins. Joe Clyde Daniels' mother will be in court. KRYSTAL Daniels is charged with 1 count of aggravated child neglect. Now, legal analysts tell us she has a better case than Joseph Daniels did. Police say KRYSTAL Daniels admitted that she was at their home on April 4th when Joseph killed Joe Clyde. KRYSTAL's oldest son even said his mother saw Joe's body being carried outside. Investigators say KRYSTAL did not report the abuse or her son's murder, despite having multiple chances to do so. Right now, the TBI is investigating the death of a Rutherford County inmate. Investigators say Jose Ramos Mendoza was injured at the Rutherford County Jail after he got into a fight with another inmate. In tragedy on the water over the weekend, officials responded to several water deaths out in southern Kentucky. The first happened Saturday in Trigg County. 69-year-old Charles Poetiker vanished after jumping in the water off of the boat. Now, this was near Sugar Bay on Kentucky Lake, and we know that he was not wearing a life jacket. This is video from the search on the shore. Crews were also called by a witness who said they saw a floating body. There were also some personal items nearby the dam, but the victim has not yet been identified. Over the weekend, people living in Rutherford County honored fallen EMS workers in a really special way. More than 140 EMS personnel have died in the line of duty, and they were all honored this weekend. The Main Street Festival in Franklin is back after it took a break last year. We're working for you, sharing new information from experts on fevers in babies. New guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics breaks down recommendations for 3 different age ranges: 8 to 21 days, 22 to 28 days, and 29 to 60 days. A new study shows that hospital visits due to self-harm in youth are higher in some areas than others. When compared to urban settings, ER visits for self-harm were 40% higher in rural areas. Visits involving firearm injuries were 3 times more common. Youth from these areas were also more likely to be transferred to another hospital to receive the care that they need. And remember, if you or someone you know is having harmful or suicidal thoughts, there's always help available. Developing right now, medical advances are giving patients with Parkinson's disease a return to life with fewer tremors. Health experts believe this type of treatment could benefit Parkinson's patients with varying degrees of symptoms. So some great news to hear for you there. A U.S. Olympian is now officially out of the Games. Tennis player Coco Gauff tested positive for COVID-19 on Sunday, forcing her to withdraw from the Games. The 17-year-old made the announcement on Twitter, saying she's disappointed because it's really been a dream of hers to represent the U.S. at the Olympics. Temperatures are also on the rise in Japan. This weekend, Olympic organizers warned athletes and volunteers to prepare for the summer heat. They say the mask mandate could make things a little bit harder for some athletes. Now on 4, California's Tamarack fire has grown to more than 21,000 acres. Right now, fire crews are still struggling to try and control the fire. The fire's burning near the California-Nevada border. A mixture of gusty winds, dry forests, and low humidity have helped the fire grow at a rapid pace. 7 neighborhoods and communities have been evacuated, and more than 120 personnel have been working overnight to suppress the flames. So we've all heard of Christmas in July, but this month, Christmas tree farmers are not celebrating at all. We're working for you, explaining how some wicked weather could impact your upcoming holiday season. Federal health leaders say the United States is now dealing with the 4th surge of the pandemic, and this one is hitting unvaccinated people. Now officials are trying to find ways to convince more people to get the vaccine. Multiple counties in California now have mask mandates back in place. Hospitalization rates are increasing, and health experts say 99% of people in the hospital with COVID right now are unvaccinated. Most of these people have the highly contagious Delta variant. Bringing it back closer to home, here's a look at COVID cases right here in our state. Tennessee reported more than 750 new cases over the past 24 hours, with 5 new deaths. The Metro Health Department is holding a host of clinics for you this week. Today, they're at the Salahadin Center and Lincoln Bay Apartments. Then on Tuesday, they'll be at Evergreen Life and the Southeast Community Center. Starting today, England is lifting nearly all of its COVID restrictions. Mask mandates are over, and shops, restaurants, and sports venues are all at full capacity. Of course, there are a few exceptions, though. London's mayor says face coverings will still be required on public transit. Now, this is all happening as the number of infections are surging in the UK, with 50,000 new cases every single day. And if you've flown anywhere lately, there's a pretty good chance your flight was delayed. Millions of people are now dealing with that exact same headache. In fact, we're seeing an increase in flights being pushed back completely. Airlines blame a number of things for this: a jump in summer passengers, a lack of airport personnel, and of course, Mother Nature. They also say they don't have enough pilots, and that's been a major issue. You're looking at the second largest drug bust in Costa Rica's history. The country's security ministry announced Sunday that it seized 4.3 tons of cocaine shipments. The drugs were found in more than 4,300 packages on a ship transporting ceramic tiles. It can also be accompanied by a piercing directional noise. Austrian authorities say they're investigating the reports along with the U.S. Now, 2 of the most outspoken governors on the border crisis are teaming up right now to address migrant issues. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Florida Governor Rick DeSantis blame President Biden and the Democrats for the surge of migrants coming into the U.S. Right now, Texas Democrats who traveled to Washington to avoid passing new voting restrictions are kicking off a voting rights conference in the nation's capital. Here's NBC's Tracy Potts with how they hope the issue will move forward. This morning, we're getting a new look at the damage done by flooding in Germany. More than 180 people have died. Now, the water receded in West Germany, but Bavaria dealt with its own deadly flooding yesterday. You can see the streets there covered with mud and debris. Over the weekend, Americans marched to show their support for Cuba. This is video from down in South Florida. On Saturday, dozens gathered at Miami's Freedom Tower. Several spoke with Cuban people who are fighting for freedom on the island. Now, protests started there after people became frustrated by the lack of supplies in their stores. Now on 4, we're sharing video of a dramatic rescue out in Florida. You're watching as 2 sheriffs jump into a pond to save a person trapped in a sinking car. Do you see that? We know the driver had a medical emergency while driving, causing him to crash into the water. Deputies tried to open the car door, but nothing was working. Now you can see both men trying to pull the car closer into shore. That's when they heard a click and the doors opened.
Something.
Just absolutely amazing, the timing there. The St. John's Department says the driver has made a full recovery this morning following that crash. Developing now, police in Tucson, Arizona are investigating a deadly shooting from last night. We know the shooting also left multiple people injured, including an ambulance crew. The incident took place over 3 locations. It involved a fire crew, police, an ambulance crew, and neighbors. Tucson police say the suspect was shot by an officer, and right now he's in critical condition. Now on 4, a police officer helps save a man's life thanks to some quick thinking. Get this. The officer used a potato chip bag to help stop the man's bleeding. Right now, you're looking at body camera from the incident. New York police responded to a stabbing, and then when they got there, they found the man with that stabbing wound on his chest. The officer called for someone to buy a bag of potato chips. Kind of crazy, right? Well, he then emptied the bag and taped it to the man's chest. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he was treated and later released. This morning, we're learning a little bit more about a frightening hazmat incident in Texas. Thousands of people leaving a Six Flags water park after a chemical gas made dozens sick. Now, this happened near Houston. Officials report over 100 people were treated following that incident. Officials say a hazardous vapor was released into water pretty close by to the kiddie pool, and it was causing a lot of people to get sick. Delta Airlines once again took the top spot for best overall experience for flyers. This is the third year in a row Delta has won the honor.
Fly.
Usually a Southwest girl, but good job, Delta.
I'll fly whatever. Just take me to a destination.
Get me
Take
outta
me to
here.
the beach.
Yes, right.
We should go to the beach this morning.
Absolutely terrifying video there. Developing right now, 3 people are recovering after they were shot outside the Washington National Stadium. This all happened during a game, and the shots could be heard from inside. Here you see fans being escorted out of the area. So far, we know 3 people were injured. One of the victims was a woman leaving the stadium. For the first time since 2017, a Super Bowl champion is visiting the White House. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be congratulated by President Biden in person on Tuesday. In 2018, former President Trump uninvited the Eagles because some players protested during the national anthem. The New England Patriots did not attend the White House ceremony in 2019, but they said it had nothing to do with politics. American golfer Collin Morikawa is an Open champion. Morikawa won the Open yesterday during his first appearance in the tournament. That is wild. He's now the first man to win both the PGA Championship and the Open on his first trip to the tournaments. He says Sunday's win is by far one of the best moments of his life.
I'm excited to have it.
That's great for him. Now, we told you just a few seconds ago, Morikawa also won the PGA Championship. Thankfully, his celebration after the Open went a little bit better than it did after the PGA. You may remember, Morikawa had a nice laugh after he lifted up the trophy, only to have the top fall off in the process. Whoops.